All rise.
That's it.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
But this is cool, and I gotta stop doing this. There's no money in this. I might as well be the state rep and make $100 a year.
You called Jeff Bradley's office today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Now you can
Tell him to vote on that weight
We're on schedule.
For what?
10:59.
bill.
What's that?
They increased the distance from 150 feet to 300.
No wait zone?
For weight boats, you know,
Oh.
for the big boats
Yep.
that they all have now. They
Yeah.
put 600, 800 gallons of water
I don't think any of it matters.
in, you know, so. But
I'm not sure, but
We ready? Close?
Nope. Now it's 10 o'clock.
Are you ready, Commissioner?
I certainly am.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the May 29th, 2024 Carroll County Commissioners meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One and, yeah, John. Public comment, Fred.
Yes, Fred came from Wolfboro. I'm sorry to see that the chairman is missing today. I hope she's with the attorney working on my right-to-know request that I still haven't received. But I did want to bring up the fact that last week when the Bonnie was here talking about bringing to the delegation today a line item transfer for agency nursing staff. I've been talking about agency for almost 2 years now. We used to spend $15,000, we used to budget $15,000 for agency. And Bonnie stated last week, the CFO, that as of the end of April, we've spent $961,110 for agency staff that will be going to the delegation today for it. I do have last year's figure on agency. We didn't spend that type of money until September on agency. At the end of April last year, we spent $345,500 on agency. So now we're up to $961. The commissioners need to address the staffing issues at the nursing home, need to address it now, find out why the staffing is you know, they can't staff them. Something needs to be done. We're averaging $240,277 a month. At 20 agency staff is roughly 20 to 21 what we've been. That's $12,000 per staff a month. I can tell you there's not one staff over there making $12,000 a month for agency, and I think it's hurting the staffing and the numbers over there. Thank you very much.
Just one note. Your numbers are substantially correct, but there's a little more to it than that, and I really don't want to get into it right now. But right this minute, starting June 1st, we have 5 new people starting over there with 2 more on the way. We made a pretty big effort to try and recruit people, so it's coming along, not as fast as we'd like. But
Yeah, and we've been working on it for 2 years.
I know,
And I commend you,
I know.
Chuck, for addressing it.
I'd like to
but,
fix it faster, and we're working on it.
You know, but they're coming from somewhere.
We're
And,
trying to.
you know, and the agency house is making money,
There's
You know,
there's no question
There's
about it.
no question
You know,
about it,
if
but
we
we
had our
need to take
choice-
care of our
If we
staff.
had our choice, we'd have all in-house people, no question.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Fred. Johnny? No? No? All right, moving right along. And no Kevin today.
I'm the Lone Ranger.
You're the Lone Ranger.
You said it up.
We're not going to, I'm sorry, we're going to approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have the payroll number yet, but we do have the accounts payable manifest for May 29th, 2024 is $121,461.60.
Make a motion to accept?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
The annual report, we will wait one more week until hopefully Chairman McCarthy will be back. We have nothing for Hales this week, correct?
Right, you can skip over
So
that.
we'll skip over Hales.
And if you wanted to take Director Murray next with the vehicle bids opening, and
That
then
would-
the CFO will be here if you wouldn't mind
That would be
swapping
fine.
those two. Thank you.
Director Murray.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you know, we had a surplus vehicle auction. Put it out on Craigslist, it was on the website, and we received 3 bids.
Johnny Carson. No, can you do it? Nobody said. I didn't see the vehicle, so. We have one bid, it looks like from Kevin. I'm not sure who this is. Maybe Bob can read this. We have one bid for $666. For the 2012 Ford Expedition. And I can't, it looks like Kevin Hool, but I'm not sure who these names are. I can't read them. And that was from May 22nd, 2024. What do you have, Commissioner Nelson?
I'm confused here, so I'll let you read the top. It looks like it's a bid, but that's, because Heaven's mentioned in there.
I, Kevin Hool, here, Sons of Pay. Okay, I guess it wasn't Kevin Hool. To the Honorable Commissioners, Kevin Hool, I, Kevin Hool, do solemnly swear to pay by certified bank check or cash the total sum of $2,920.25 for the 2018 Ford Explorer. I can't read this VIN number.
Yeah.
Respectfully, Kevin Hool. That's one of the vehicles, right?
It is.
And this is an Expedition.
Correct.
We're gonna have to do a little more work on these to see if we can figure out exactly who they're from.
Yeah, I'll review those, and if I can come back a little later on
This is from,
meeting.
this looks like Kevin Halley, H-A-L-L-E, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure that's Kevin Hool.
Okay. And one more here from, this is Bay Ridge Motors, Inc. Concern. We have a bid on all 3 vehicles. The 2018 Ford Explorer, the sum of $1,755. 2014 Ford Taurus, the sum of $14,005. 2015...
14,000 or 1,400?
1,400, I'm sorry. 1,400, very good. Would be nice.
I'd like to get
Would be
14,000.
nice if it was 14,000. 2015 Ford Taurus, the sum of $1,555. And the 2013 Ford Taurus, the sum of $1,355.
So we only have 3.
There are three Tauruses out there.
There are 3 Tauruses, yeah.
Yeah.
And the 2018 Explorer, I said, was $1,755.
Yeah.
And that's from Bay Ridge Motors, Inc.
And none of those bids meet the minimum bid amount. None of them, on that sheet of paper right there,
Right, meet the minimum.
none of them meet the reserve.
Okay.
So it's up to you whether you want to.
Do I assume it's all or none?
It's up to the commissioners, the next step, whether you want to take those or whether you want to, let's open up the bid again.
I'm not sure if we want to do that, but let's table this till next week and take a look at again.
Okay.
And
Those, on that one that you just read, those are 3 separate vehicles from the other 2 bids. So I think we can move on the other 2,
these 2.
but I wouldn't move on that one until we discuss it further.
Would you see
This-
bidding on,
Which one?
The one from New York,
This one.
that
That's
you
this one.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's this one. Give those to Bob.
yeah, you don't want,
yeah, that's-
we need to discuss the next move on this, whether you want to
All right,
accept
let's
it.
do that, let's do that next week. Take a look at it.
And then those 2, let me review those and
Okay.
make sure we have the right person.
Correct.
And then I can come back to you later on in this meeting with the recommendation.
This is Bay Ridge, New York.
but we have some bids?
Some bids.
Some. There's 2 in here. This is one. Where is it? Got it.
Got it.
All right.
Anything else?
No?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
About bids? I know all of those had a minimum on them, and none of those bids came in at the minimum at least. And that's why I wouldn't bid on them, because they had a minimum price on them. So if you accept any of those, I don't think that's fair to everybody. And I would suggest that maybe you should just open it up to a public auction rather than doing a sealed bid, if you were gonna do that. That way people have a chance to come in and bid and raise the bid if they need to.
I'll take that under advisement.
I know you tabled it for now, but
Right.
there was
No,
a
I
minimum,
get
there
it.
was a minimum on all of those, and that's why I wouldn't bid on it.
Yeah, two of them meet the minimum. One here from New York
Does not.
does not, none of them do. So I will be back,
No,
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 we'll do it next week.
you
no.
want to hold the whole thing off till next week, or just,
We can do the other 2 if you want.
Good.
yeah, I'd like to move them. Let me just review them, make sure that they're good bids, and I'll come back later on in this meeting and see
Okay,
if I can
that's fine.
squeeze in for a couple minutes. All right?
Can I make one more statement? I wasn't talking about the first 2 bids because those
Right.
were above the minimum that was requested. I was talking about the other 3.
Yeah, we get it.
And I believe that he bid, and he should probably get them based on what the RFP was.
Okay, we'll talk before that.
We'll be back. Thank you.
Rules and procedures, again, we're gonna wait one more week for Commissioner McCarthy, hopefully we'll be back. So that she can always state her opinions or whatever, approval. We have the CFO who will be over here shortly.
I'm here.
He's here.
Oh, you are here?
Yep.
Well, Bonnie, come right down.
Quiet as a church mouse.
Come right down.
Quiet when I need to be. Hello. I did send it to you electronically. There's a copy of the audit, signed, sealed, and delivered. Copy of the management letter and the governance letter. Okay. So the 2023 audit is done and complete.
Congratulations.
Uh,
Record time.
Yes, very thrilled. A clean audit, no findings single audit for a threshold of federal monies in excess of $750,000. So they did extensive internal control testing on our federal grants, use of federal grants, and the overall financial audit and clean opinion. Okay? There's two letters. There's a letter of governance and there's a letter of, a management letter. I'm not sure which one. Okay, so the one that is the shortest front page.
Yep.
Okay. This is the management letter. It's a letter that every auditor includes to the commissioners, saying basically what they did and areas they found that could be improvements. They're not findings, they're not material weaknesses or deficiencies. So there was 2 items that were found in the HR department and 2 items that were found at the Department of Corrections. I've gone through, so the process is that the auditor writes up a management point, says what the issue is, and then I go to the departments, they write a response, we respond how we're going to correct it. An example of the level of materiality, there was an I-9 missing for one employee. So that's a federal form that's required when you hire somebody. There was one employee that by the department head was, instead of putting in 8 hours, put the 8 in the dollar column. So the calculation was incorrect. That's since been corrected, recouped from the employee, all taken care of. So there's 4 items so that was HR. And then corrections, there was a deposit that was a little over $1,500 that took longer than a week to deposit. That's an RSA requirement, so they have made that change to make sure that all the deposits are recorded within a week. And then on some of the inmate disbursements, I think there were 3 receipts they tested that didn't have the inmate sign off on it. So they have since made all those changes, guaranteed that those will all be taken care of moving forward. And again, are just areas for us as the county to improve and strengthen even more our internal controls. Okay, so really overall fantastic.
Relatively minor, and this is in the context of thousands of transactions.
Exactly.
Every
In context of a $34 million budget
right.
is
I guess
phenomenal.
That's what I was trying to, I guess that's what I was trying to.
Yes, so I'm extremely happy with all the department heads. They were extremely helpful and they've taken to suggestions since I came in and have really taken it to heart, and I'm very, very pleased.
Yeah.
So the next letter is the letter of governance, again, which just gives how they approached the audit, what estimates were made during the audit, such as allowances on the outstanding receivables for the nursing home. They did make an adjustment retro to 2022 for the MQIP proceeds. That's the Medicaid proceeds that come into the nursing home. In 22, we had a discussion with the auditors about backdating the March, so we get it quarterly. So the March 23 payment, we didn't backdate into 22 because we already had 4 payments in 22. Okay, so we had a conscious discussion with the auditors. Well, in 23, we received 5 payments. So we again discussed with the auditors and said, you know what, we want to put that first payment of 23 back into 22 so that we have consistently moving forward 4 payments a year. So it didn't change anything cumulatively, it just moved that first quarterly payment back into 22. So that was the only adjustment they did in the entire audit, was to move that back.
So from here on in, it'll be just 4 payments.
Exactly. Yep. So we had 1 adjustment for the audit, that was it. It was important for them to do it because of the pro share and the calculations.
That's the 385,000?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's it. So,
Terrific.
happy.
Very good. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you. Any questions?
Anything's been corrected, so we're all set?
I
Yeah.
don't, I'd like to say I do, but I don't.
What's
This is
the point of
a lot of
information?
reading that I don't necessarily
I know.
understand.
Point of information?
Yes.
Is it customary for the auditors to look at all cash handling departments? And why, if that wasn't done, why was it not done in reference to the hay purchase and funds that were not collected? Was any work done on that area by the auditors?
I do not believe so, and it is based on materiality. Okay, so the hay department brings in $30,000 a year, and 30,000 as a percentage of 34 million. There's a level of materiality that the department or that the auditors pick their testing. Now, I would assume with the words that have gone back and forth that next year it may be an issue. But no, they don't pick every area, and they don't pick the same area every year as an auditor.
Okay.
Yes, Fred.
Yeah, to follow up on that, we did have somebody that hadn't paid for 2 years, and I think that's an issue, that we need to have controls.
We are, you know, we have the new hay
A new
policy.
hay
That's
policy.
that's not going to happen again.
Right, so
I mean, assuming we follow the controls, that's not going to happen
Right,
again.
we have controls in that, so it does not happen again.
Right.
But for somebody not to pay for two years,
No, we recognize that that was,
kind of outrageous, to
Probably
be
not
honest
good.
with you. Thank
Agreed.
you very much.
and just as an aside on the hay, per last week's meeting, I believe Melissa or Karen or some, you went down and marked all the hay bales, and we're in the process of having the hay picked up. I'm not sure we have that nailed down exactly yet in terms of time, but they've been notified that they have to come and get it, so.
Right, we have an inventory of what is on hand, we have an inventory, and I'm waiting for a map of who has paid for their hay, and they need to immediately come and pick it up. And nobody will get hay without paying for it first in the finance office moving forward.
Good to hear. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yes.
Excuse my ignorance, but what do you mean by materiality?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So when you start an audit, you do a lot of planning. You look at the controls that are in place for an entity. And then you take one of two bases, either total revenue or total assets. And there's a template that auditors use that plugs in, total assets or total revenue, which is totally subjective by the auditor on what they want to use. And there's a calculation that calculates out what the level of materiality is. So if it was 5%, or 10%, whatever that might be. And when you pick your tests that at least are the level of materiality or higher. In other words, if something was under that materiality, it wouldn't necessarily impact the outcome of the finances or the financial statement presentation.
But if it was over, that would be the,
Yes, absolutely.
thank you.
Yep.
I'm not going to wade into this. So you good?
I'm good. That's all I have.
Great. Thanks for the presentation. Great, good news.
Yep,
Keep up the good work, and thanks.
you're welcome.
Let's see. 11:30 is.
Yeah. They're not going to be here early, they're coming from another
Okay,
county.
so we have a choice.
coming
We
from
can-
Keene.
We can play cribbage or
Go figure.
whatever.
If you wouldn't mind, though, it sounds like you're comfortable taking a vote to accept the audit and the 2023 audit and move it to the delegation for review.
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
I'll accept that.
Make a motion to accept it. Do you need a roll call on that?
I'm sorry.
You need a roll call on that one?
No, just a
Make a
voice
motion.
vote.
Motion to
Thank
accept the 2023 audit as presented.
And
Second.
The other one, second audit and
That's all you need, right, Bob?
just the audit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The audit.
Second.
All
All
those
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
let's quickly get a record, meeting time.
All I did was put our current lead policy here, so he's gonna have the trustee.
Now, who's coming at 11:30?
Yeah, UNH Cooperative Extension. We can go into recess until 11:30 if you want to go get anything or whatever. We got an hour,
And I have to leave at 12.
noon time, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go into recess until, call the chair, 11:30.
Thank you.
10:24.
Okay, all I'm gonna do is do treasurer, refund, and trustee.
Oh, okay.
And,
Johnny, what's going on over there at the farm?
It's 11:21.
11:21, okay, we'll come out of recess and we'll resume our regular meeting. Before we do the UNH delegation, we will see Bob Murray for recommendations. Director Murray.
Back again.
Back again.
All right. Back to the vehicle bids. The two bids from Kevin Hool are valid bids, and I recommend that the commissioners sell the vehicles to Kevin Hool. The 2018 Ford Explorer for $2,920.25. And the 2012 Expedition for $666. The other vehicles that were bid on from Bay Ridge Motors of Staten Island, New York. I looked up their bids. Their bids are, well, they're below our reserve, but they're trade-in values. If we were to trade these vehicles into a dealer, these are dealer trade-in values that he offered us. And the value of the vehicles, even for a private sale, is much, much higher. $5,000 to $6,000 is what they're getting out on the street. I have sold these vehicles before and received $3,200 for these vehicles.
So we'll rebid them again?
I think we need to rebid them again, yeah. I don't recommend changing the minimum bid price, but if the commissioners want to move them, we could lower the minimum bid.
What was the minimum bid again?
$2,300, $2,400, and $2,500 respectively.
Let's leave it at that for now. Commissioner Nelson, I'll recommend, I accept a bid, accept a motion to sell the two vehicles to,
Okay, I'll second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Well, in the amounts, we should read them.
Right there in big yellow paper.
So we have two vehicles that we're going to sell to Kevin Hool. One is a 2012 Expedition for $666, and the 2018 Explorer for $2,920.25 to Kevin Hool.
All those in favor? Aye.
A motion?
Oh, that's what you made. Okay, make a motion to accept those.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye.
All right.
And we're going to read the other two.
Yes. Do you want to leave the price the same?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Come on down. You might want to sit on this side so you can be,
Sit on this side?
yes, sit on this side.
Take me on the camera and wave
For
and
the-
all that.
You'll be,
Our best side.
your best side.
Well, thank you for taking the time with us today. So there are two reasons why I'm here. One is to introduce myself as a new interim director of UNH Cooperative Extension. And the second is to ask for the commissioners' signatures, or actually one for the group of commissioners, for a memorandum of understanding between Carroll County and the University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension to keep funding an extension office here in Carroll County. So I'll begin with I've been with UNH Cooperative Extension since 2001. I was a UNH alum who studied plant biology and served as a county field specialist for Belknap County for 8 years. And then I was able to apply for a job in Merrimack County doing that same job where I lived and worked for an additional 4 years. So I have 12 years experience being a field specialist in agriculture. Then following that, I was hired to be an agriculture program leader in Durham for extension for the state, and moved on from there to be associate director of extension for 8 years, where I oversaw all of the internal operations and maintained high standards in our educational programming and so on. So just this past March, our director, Ken LaValle, was asked to lead UNH Online, and he moved aside, and I was appointed as the interim director. So I'm the new, for at least temporary, director of cooperative extension. So I think I have a rich background in different positions with the department at UNH. And my intention is to apply for the full-time job when I'm given an opportunity to next year. But I'm in a about 15-month post right now as interim director. And it just so happens that during this year, our current memorandum of understanding with Carroll County, as well as the other 9 counties, all expire. So the memorandum is basically, it's a commitment. It's not legally binding because, of course, every year we will come back and submit a budget request. In the last entire fiscal year of 23, for each $1 that Carroll County spent to fund educators and supply money, office spaces, etc., here in the Conway office, we, UNH, spent an additional $1.70. So we matched, for each Carroll County dollar, we matched $1.70 in addition. Where our funds come from for this match is through the USDA and also through the state of New Hampshire through the USNH budget. Another big piece of it is grants. Our staff are prolific grant writers. About 25% of our entire budget is actually coming in through grants now.
How big is that budget?
That budget is presently $18 million. Yeah, to fund cooperative extension through the whole state of New Hampshire.
The whole state.
The whole state. Oh, yes, that's the whole state.
A little different.
Yeah, that's the whole state, yes, yep. I could easily, I don't have your numbers off the top of my head, but I could easily look them up. Do you want to Google that real quick? I know where it is. You'd go to our website and you'd go under About and then Locations and then Carroll County, and there's a fact sheet that pops right up. But, yeah. So that's why I'm here today, is to tell you that UNH is committed to keeping a cooperative extension office in Carroll County, and to ask you to, stay within this commitment that we've had together since 1915, believe it or not.
What do you know what we're paying to rent those buildings up north?
The Conway building, we could probably get an answer for you while we're here. 'Cause I
I'm
don't
just
know.
thinking you're rehabbing potentially this building. We could say rent, that's all.
I will tell you that we have been approached by the U.S. Forest Ranger, is Saco,
It's the ranger station.
the ranger station right on the Kank. That there's apparently going to be a new building built. Have you heard about that? There's some federal dollars. Is it through the ARPA?
It could be.
There are federal dollars that will be used to build a new ranger station on the Kank, and they've asked us if we would like to move into that building when it's built. And so it's not a sure bet, but I want you to know that we've been approached.
you would have to pay for that space?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
That's the verbal offer that's out there.
That's not gonna happen this year though, correct?
No, but we do have a staff, they asked for one staff member from our Carroll County Extension Office to serve on a planning committee, and it would be an 18-month post to do the planning, and it just started maybe 2 months ago to do the planning.
So you're a little ways away from,
Yeah, so I don't know, we don't have anything in writing about that, but that's been, are you interested in moving to this ranger station?
Right.
Very close to where the office is actually right now. So, okay, I can give you those contributions right now. Carroll County in '23 spent $295,000 for this extension office for the personnel, and UNH contributes an additional $502,000. So $295 for Carroll County, $502 for UNH contributions. And as I said, what I mean by UNH contributions, USDA, USNH money from the state, grants.
so we were 295 last year,
Yes. 23.
23, right? And this year you're looking at 332, 125.
Yeah.
Melissa, we put that in the budget, right?
3,
332, 125?
yes, yep.
How much is that increase in rent, do you know, versus salaries or where the increase is?
I have that back when we went through there.
I do know there's approximately, maybe you can confirm this, Melissa, it was just over $9,000 additional dollars to increase health and well-being education in Carroll
I
County.
think so. I think it's about 9.
So for this year, the requested increase was $1,932, almost $2,000 for rent increases this year. $6,183, about $6,200 was a 2.5 increase to our overall budget for operating expenses and for personnel. And then we had an additional request, which I believe you approved, the number you just shared, for our educator Joy, who died in this position in order to bring some, buy some of her time to the county.
Right,
Yeah.
I do remember that. Any other question?
Yes, if I wanted soil testing, last time I checked, it was fairly expensive, at least in my opinion. I can't believe they couldn't do that as a freebie or as a lower cost.
Yeah, I can actually explain that because I have a background in that work. Yeah, it's in the range of $20 for a soil test. And the reason is we gather batches of soil, and every week we send batches to Penn State University to have the soil tested, because it's a lot more cost effective for us to have a large university do the soil testing than it is for us to employ 2 scientists to do it, which is the minimum number you would need to run the lab. So we would have to, the ICP machine that does the soil testing itself is very expensive to own and operate, and to buy the chemicals to use that it requires to do the soil tests. And it's really the 2 scientists that are the largest expense. So we ran the numbers for several years in a row and found that we could actually keep the cost lower for the consumer at around $20 if we kept sending our soil to Penn State. We've been doing that now for over 15 years. We've recently done an investigation to figure out if we could turn part of the UNH COVID lab into a soil testing lab, as well as some other types of agricultural processes, but it doesn't look like the numbers are going to be in our favor to return the testing to UNH. What we do though, even though the soil chemistry is actually run in Pennsylvania, we write the recommendations and we customize them for every person that pays for a soil test. And that's just our cost of doing business. That's not, the expense for doing that is kind of written into our salaries. It's not an additional charge on top of it. It's basically it's a break even for us to have that soil tested by Pennsylvania. And if you told me, here's my soil sample, please tell me the pH and the basic nutrients and run a heavy metal panel for me. If it came back and and the soil was too acidic for you to grow a hay crop, if that's what you wanted to do, I would customize the recommendations to tell you how much limestone or wood ash or compost, whatever it is that you select to use to amend that soil. And I would also tell you for the basic nutrients, the amount you would have to apply and the best time to do it. So that's how the program runs. We try to keep it as cost effective as possible for people to do. All of the farming community, I should say, the majority of the farming community who are in it for commercial business are all testing their soil too, and they're doing multiple samples every year.
They're doing it themselves.
Yep, you can follow some easy instructions to do it yourself. It's basically taking a representative sample of 10 scoops from underneath turf, if there is turf there, mixing it up in a bucket, and then taking out one representative scoop, 1 cup, and putting that in the mail. Yeah. So yeah, it's surprisingly expensive to get that done because of the soil chemistry, basically, and the scientists. Yeah. But we don't raise the prices. As long as Penn State doesn't raise them up, they're not making a profit.
What do people tend to do? I mean, is there more people going into growing blueberries or apples or whatever? You see a trend, or things are slowing down?
Well, presently there are a lot of people, kind of in response to the pandemic, there are a lot of people that are basically homesteading. They want to be able to produce their own food if there's ever a supply chain hiccup. So you've got a lot of people who are raising, maybe a few beef cattle, some pigs, chickens definitely, for eggs primarily, but sometimes, for meat. You have people raising goats and sheep, There's a lot of that in New Hampshire, quite a few people doing that.
How about the county, though?
Excuse me?
How about our county?
Yeah, in your county, you have quite a few homesteaders, and then people that are doing that, they love to plant perennial fruit crops that are kind of easy to do, like blueberries are an easy crop, raspberries are easy. Strawberries, not as easy, because they are really finicky about the soil moisture. Fruit trees are a little more challenging because of pests, and then vegetables. So that's primarily what we see here. You certainly have some nice retail fruit and vegetable operations in Carroll, but primarily we have like mixed use small farms, people growing food for themselves, and then doing some small scale direct market to consumer.
We have a hoop house out here that hasn't been used in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And there's been talk about plaster, whatever they put around it. Is that something you people help pay for, or is it dependent on how it's used?
That's the Natural Resources Conservation Service, a federal agency.
Okay.
They may have even paid for your hoop house, do you know?
I'm not sure.
So they paid for about, let's say 10 to 12 years ago, they started a new program to try to encourage people to put up hoop houses, because if you grow some vegetables in a hoop house, you can harvest them earlier and then plant another crop and harvest them later. So it's called season extension. Yeah. But Natural Resources Conservation Service is located in Conway, and they do have a program.
Across the hall from us, I think.
Yeah.
Melissa, any questions?
I don't. Thank you. Thank you, though.
All right, anything else?
Not on my end. I think just the logistics of how we move forward with signatures and the signing process, if you have questions about that process for us.
No, my understanding is we approve it, then the delegation approves it.
Yep,
and-
that's true. We're sticking around.
And
Yep.
away we go.
Away we go.
So I'm not the chair, but I believe she's going to be here. But I
She's
would,
hoping to be
but I
here,
would
so-
accept a motion to have the chair sign the memorandum of understanding
Okay.
with the NH extension.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
gentlemen.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, commissioners. All right.
Anything you see for us as a county that we should be doing?
agriculturally speaking or otherwise. That's my background, but some other program areas that we do work in are forestry, wildlife, youth development through the 4-H program.
Right, we've got a lot, yeah.
Yeah, some economic
yeah,
development.
yeah.
Yeah. If there are any topics that intersect with the expertise that we have, and you ever want more from us than your county staff have expertise, we are a statewide network. So you don't just really, when you have an extension office in your county, you're really part of the whole state network. So you can get the expertise of other educators from other counties coming in.
How about the youth, how is that going, putting on programs for the youth?
Well-
Youth being, I guess, such a tool, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we have the 4-H program, and that's doing well. We took a dip in participation during COVID because everything used to be in person. And then we started a lot of hybrid programming to help kind of supplement their school day. You know, they'd get their work done really fast. And then we gave them some productive things to do other than video games, you know. So we did a lot of online programming, and that actually helped to boost our numbers back up again. We're at pre-pandemic levels of participation again. And we're also, right away, we were back to in-person programming. We just kind of moved it all outside. Yeah, so it's going really well. And we have, we specialize in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
We have other programming in basically health and nutrition. We have programming in civics, like youth leadership, teaching them to be good citizens and to learn about, you know, what it means to.
If we come up with a program that basically the commissioners or the delegation thinks this would be a good program, is there, all of a sudden, we find out a cost for this? Is this an additional? We want to have, I don't know, something going, teaching poultry raising or
Oh,
something?
no, you'd be part of like basically the state cooperative extension system and, you know.
Okay.
Not, the only time a cost is associated with a program is if it's, let's say we're doing an all-day program and we're feeding people lunch and bringing in a speaker from out of state, something like that, there'd be a nominal fee. But we also, because we are partially funded by the USDA, we are required to provide programming free of charge to people who say they can't afford it.
And
So,
the county can't afford it?
individuals. I don't know how that works, no one's ever asked me that question before. So let's say if you had a family who had, you know, who had a low income and they wanted to send their teenager to a teen conference at UNH for a week, and they thought it would be very good for that teenager, and they read about it online. There would be a phone number there that said, if you can't afford this program, reach us and we'll see if there's scholarship money available to either significantly reduce the price for that teen to attend, or in some cases, if there's been enough donor activity for that, then we give out free scholarships every year to kids. Yeah, so we keep prices as low as possible, but if you ever felt like there's a lot of people that want to learn about poultry production, you just gave that example. Yeah, we you have an agriculture educator, Olivia Saunders, here. If Olivia felt that wasn't her area of expertise, she would just have a coworker come in that did have that expertise.
Okay,
Yeah, it's kind of a network. Yeah.
that's it.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Commissioners.
We were thinking about, is it true that you can go next door and have
Yes.
lunch? We were thinking about doing that.
You'll like it.
Okay. So, and do you stay here when the commissioners meet?
Well, it's the delegation, they're after.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's,
Yeah, they're
I
next.
used the wrong words.
Yeah, well, I don't, yeah, they're next.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm not next. We have a land committee meeting, then they're next after that.
Busy
Okay.
day. Thank you.
So if I'm not mistaken, then we come back at 1:15 for the delegation?
Yes.
Okay, great,
Bill.
thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need the mail.
Yeah, go for it. You're good. Well, let's, I think we're we're done there's no non-public,
No, not today.
so we will adjourn until the call of the chair at
11:45.
11:45.
Can we make a motion that they put a bale of hay in the back of that expedition there for Kevin?